Hey guys, welcome to a counselor's journey to private practice. And I wanted to share with you feedback to a question that I had asked. What are waivers? Specifically, extreme hardship and cancellation and removal waivers. Now, here's the first piece of advice I want to provide with you. We as clinicians do not need to know this information to the full detail as an immigration attorney would. And I do not mean that in any way where we are, from the clinical side, not trying to do our due diligence. It's important for us to do our due diligence. There's just a certain amount of information that's important for us to know so we can do our job ethically. And then there's a certain amount of information for the attorney to know. Now, to make this really simple, I want you to consider medication, right? If you do not prescribe medication, then more than likely as a clinician, your scope of knowledge, your depth of knowledge, it differs compared to the psychiatrist or to that practitioner that is prescribing the medication, right? Yet, as clinicians, we serve and we work and we do our due diligence when we're working with patients that are engaged in medication management, right? So that should make sense for most clinicians out there. The same thing happens here. And I share this with you so that it decreases that fear and worry. Often whenever clinicians reach out to take one of the courses that I offer at a counselor's journey to private practice that have to do with immigration evaluations, one of the key questions they ask is, do I need to know that legal language there? And we need to know some of it. We do not need to know it to the full extent. And not knowing it to the full extent does not hurt your evaluation, the service that you provide. Again, no difference than when it comes to medication. The hardship waivers I'm going to go over today, these waivers all go under a category. And the waivers, what they do is where you have one person who is petitioning for the other one. The person who's petitioning is either a LPR. Now, LPR stands for a legal permanent resident, or they're a citizen. Now, that's their status. And an example would be if you're working with me and I am doing one of these waivers, whether it's an extreme hardship one or a cancellation or removal. And let's say that, again, I am the one that has that status, the LPR, legal permanent resident, or citizen. And my spouse, my wife, she is undocumented. And we are working with an immigration attorney, right? That's part of the process. And the immigration attorney reaches out, or they reach out to a clinician because they're looking for that evaluation to be written. Now, in part, the relationship that you have with the client would be, let's say if it's Counselor Bob will work with me, with Juan, right? Because I am the one that's the LPR or the citizen. I am the legal permanent resident or the citizen. So they would conduct the evaluation on me, Bob would, right? And hopefully all that makes sense so far. From there, Bob's going to assess the hardship that I'm going through, the hardship that I would go through. He's going to look at the evaluation from a psychosocial point of view. He's going to identify maybe country conditions. He's going to look at overall what does the relationship look like? How would it affect me if we are separated? How would it affect the family system? Now, an interesting point with these waivers is that the petitioner, right, the citizen or the legal permanent resident, that can be a spouse, it could be a fiance, it could be a parent, it could be a child. Overall is the individual that has that status. And when I shared those variables there, spouse, fiance, parent, and child, that's a relationship. So here with myself and my spouse, it would be a spouse relationship. It could be a petition between myself and my child, and then one of us petitioning for the other. Overall, the work that you're doing, it can involve working with one individual, just with me, or it can involve with the family system. Typically there, what I encourage individuals to do is to build a strong and healthy relationship with the attorney, meaning reach out to the attorney. After, of course, you have a release of information and the ethical documents that you need online. Reach out, inquire about the case, ask any question that you would have. Just like if you're on medication and you have a client on Zoloft maybe, reach out to the psychiatrist and say, hey, tell me about this medication. Here's the treatment I'm doing. I'm doing MDR, I'm doing CBT. What should I be aware of? So that way we're aligning and we're on the same page. We're aligning our models, if you will. Something to consider. Hopefully this video was helpful. Thank you for sharing time with me, space with me. Have a beautiful day.